Okay, good evening, Rabbi. We're continuing with Pirkeh Avot. We already did some inside about an hour ago. We're going to continue now, do some more Pirkeh Avot. This is the first chapter, Perek Aleph, and Mishna 15, which is 15, the 15th Mishnah. It says over there like this, Shamai Omer, Aseh Toratecha Keva, Emor Me'at Ve'aseh Arbeh. So what does that mean? Make your Torah Keva. What does that mean? That a person should learn Torah more than he does other things. You know, his main occupation should be to learn Torah. Why is that? Because the world was created for that. The world was created for Torah study. So therefore, if a person is not occupied with Torah study, he's missing the whole point of the world, right? What did you come to this world for? What?
I thought it was Facebook.
Yeah, to spread on Twitter and Facebook Torah. That's the idea. That's the idea. To spread the Torah everywhere, right? Even there, even places like that. They have to spread Torah everywhere. So that's the idea. So what does that mean? Make it keva. What does that mean? Every day, like, it's a daily occurrence. Not once in a while, once in a blue moon. Yeah, I guess I'll drop in, and I'll hear some divrei Torah, I got nothing better to do. I have a break now, I'm in between customers, so I'll drop in, It's not the way it should be. You have to maybe keva. What does that mean? Every day, certain time, certain hours you have for Torah, make it keva, make it everything right, fixed. Make it kavua, like we're saying in Hebrew, right? Everything fixed. So that's the idea. But more than that, also tells you another thing, which is that spend more time on Torah than you do on other things. You know what I mean? Don't spend so much time on nonsense. It's not going to help you that much to do all kinds of nonsense. Whether it's watching TV or watching movies and all kinds of silly things like this, which give you nothing in the world. Or you hang around with your friends and talk some nonsense. Some politics, What did they say on Fox? What did they say on CNN? Who cares? Whatever. What does it give you, these things? What are you going to gain from it? When you go to Olam Haba, what are they going to ask you over there, right? What did they say on Fox? What did they say on CNN? Okay, we'll let you in if you know. Who cares about that over there? Nobody cares. All they care about is how much Torah you learn. They're going to ask you, okay, what do you know on Torah? You know something? Tell us what you know. According to that, we let you in. That's the idea, So you got to make sure you know some Torah. That's the whole thing. Do more, do more Torah than you do other things. And by the way, this also applies to work as well. A person should, ideally speaking, he should be learning Torah more than he works. Also, more hours he should be doing in Torah. That would be the best thing. Unfortunately, practically speaking, it doesn't always work out that way. Why is that? Because some of these jobs are usually 8 to 12 hours a day. So then, how you don't really have a lot of time to do other things. You may have a little time here, a little bit there, half hour to learn some Torah, but basically, your whole day is occupied with labor. So a person like that, he can't really fulfill this 100%. So what should he do if he can't, by the way, if he can't? So it says in Midrash, that a person like this, he can even do like very little. What does that mean? In the morning, he comes to synagogue, he learns one halakha in the morning. The rabbi goes up and teaches him one halakha. And then he comes in the afternoon again, Mincha Arvit, praises Mincha Arvit. In the middle, the rabbi teaches another halakha. So he learned one halakha in the morning, one halakha in the evening. So you know what it says in the Midrash, right? How does that tzaddik come with tzaddik? He's a righteous person. Why is that? Because every day he's learning 2 halachot, No matter what, uzar mazrat, whatever it is, right?
So you're saying the Torah gives us shortcuts? It actually
What does that mean? Shortcuts. What that means is that if you can't do the best way, the preferred way, you still can be a good person, because you have no choice. What can you do, But at least do that much, Every day 2 halachot. Learn something every day. Otherwise what? The whole day went by, you didn't learn nothing? So what did your whole day was a waste, basically, That didn't go to nothing. That's the idea, and then also another thing, says also here, Shammai, and more me'at ve'aseh arbeh, the ikar, the main thing is not to talk a lot, And talk all kinds of nonsense, some people like to brag, brakoben, going bragging, how much I can do, how much money I have, what I have, what I can do, me,
You mean during Torah study? Or?
Anytime, just in life in general, what I mean? Like, don't be a braggart, like...
we know a guy like
that.
Well, we know a few.
Believe me, though. That's all right, right?
I guess everybody has a character.
That's the way it is, right? So you don't want to be a braggart, like this brakiani, You don't want to be like this person,
I love
or any kind of other thing also. Not
So
to talk too
basically,
much.
the Torah is telling us not to be Georgian.
Yeah, you know what? So what that means is, also not only to brag, but don't talk about nonsense. Just don't waste your time.
Right.
Talking. So what's the main thing in life? The main thing is like to do something, get something done. Like accomplish something in your life. You know what I mean? Whether it's in your career or whatever it may be, get something done. When you talk too much, you can't work. You can't do nothing. You get nothing done. People would like to talk too much. That's the problem. They like to talk more than like to do, and that's not good. Because a lot of talking, if you're not talking Divrei Torah, it doesn't give you nothing. It just gives you emptiness and heartache.
Well, if you make sense when you
disappointment.
talk a lot, then it's
That's the whole point. It doesn't make sense. What I mean to say is that it doesn't give you anything. In the end, when you talk a lot, that's the thing.
Sure.
That's why it says in Gemara. There's a Gemara like this in Masechet Megillah. It says, right, that when a person says something clever, something wise, that's worth one gold coin. One gold coin. But if a person is silent, it's worth two. In other words, saying something clever is good. It's good. But to be quiet is even better.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
And I should have a lot of
You
coins.
should.
So quiet.
That's a great trait.
You should know, by the way, that look always at the successful people in life, the people who make really success. They don't talk a lot. They do. You know what I mean? They're not big talkers.
That's true.
You know what I mean? They like to do. When you start talking to them, they tell you, "Oh, I'm sorry, I have to go. I got something to do now. I have an appointment."
Yeah.
They don't have time to talk to you. They're too busy. It's a good person. Doesn't have time to talk nonsense. Yeah. That's a good thing. Okay, very good. That's the way to do. Another thing he says.
My father was very quiet, but
yes, he was. I remember. It's very true.
Yeah,
it's very true. Another thing which somebody says, which is also very important, that when you meet people, whether it's Jewish or not Jewish, doesn't make any difference. Whoever you meet in the street, your neighbors, your colleagues, your co-workers, speak to them in a nice way. Give them a smile. Give them a nice countenance. Like friendly. Be friendly. Be kind. Don't be sad. And atzbani. Very upset all the time.
I respect any religion.
Yeah.
Is this something wrong with me? Okay. For example,
yeah.
I have Muslim friends.
Yes.
Muslims. I used to do business with them. Very nice people. They helped me in the business when I started my business. Even religious Christians. I have nothing against religious people.
Yes.
I have just respect. Respect my religion, I'll respect yours.
Right. That's a discussion in itself, by the way. We talked about this, several times, about this issue. I'm not going to get into it now because it's not our discussion, but I will speak to you sometime about this. One time, I'll talk to you about this. I'll explain to you some things, but right now that's not our topic, so I'm not going to get into it right now.
Okay.
But to not compare the religions, we've been talking about this for years already. Me and David over here.
I think what he's trying to, I don't want to speak for David,
Yeah.
but I think what he's trying to convey is that those people he respects as people. So if they have a certain religion that's not the same as his religion, he doesn't hold it against them.
But the point is like this, that whether you agree with his religion or not, that's not the issue. The issue is be friendly with people. Be nice to them. Be nice to people. You don't lose nothing by being nice. You're always going to get much better life, much better results in everything, much more success. Be pleasant, be nice, Treat them with a nice face, give them a nice smile, give them a nice countenance, give them a nice attitude also, That's the thing. So, it's interesting, right, that who says the Shammai, And Shammai was a tough guy. He was a tough rabbi, So he was, you may think he's just the opposite of this whole thing. If you know a little bit about his history, about his character, Shammai, he was a tough man. But he was the one who's telling you that be nice to everybody, In other words, he understood in the end, I guess, you could say that, the best way to be is to be nice to everybody and friendly with everybody. This makes life a lot better for everybody. And you only gain by doing that. That's the thing, because that makes peaceful relations between people, Everybody likes each other. You wake up in the morning, you tell people good morning, say some nice things to them. They don't like people, you pass by them in the morning, you don't say good morning, people don't like that. It's a part of American culture, in the morning you say good morning. Same thing with the Jewish culture. Boker Tov, you say Boker Tov. You say good morning in the morning. That's the way it is, and people expect that from you. So don't deny them that little pleasure, of getting that good morning.
Just a greeting.
Give them greetings. Yeah, exactly. That's the idea.
You are acknowledging basically
exactly,
existence.
But it's also like it's a form of blessing. What are you telling them? Have a good one. Enjoy. So you're blessing them.
And they're blessing
people
you
like
back.
that. Yeah, exactly. So people like that. That you're being positive. You're being
right.
Positive reinforcement, positive wishes, positive thinking. Positive attitude. Everything is good. So this is the way a person should be. That's a very important thing. Okay, we're going to go to Mishna 15-Chap, Rabbi Gamliel Hayomer, Aseh lecha Rav. So here also, right, it says Rabbi Gamliel, this is something very important, everybody has to have a rabbi. You know what I mean? Make sure you have a rabbi. So why do you need a rabbi for? Some people think, what, so I can give them money, I can give them donations.
Spiritual leader.
Exactly. It's not just, giving him donations, and this kind of thing. Oh yeah, when I have some money to give, I'll come to the rabbi and I'll give him some money. That's also good, but that's not the main thing of having a rabbi. The main idea is that you get instruction from him, He tells you what's allowed to do, what's not allowed. You should ask him questions. Because otherwise what happens is that you don't know what you're doing. You don't know Torah, you don't know Shulchan Aruch, you don't know how to halacha. So how are you going to live your life like that? You're going to make mistakes. If you don't have a rabbi, you're going to make mistakes for sure. You don't know what's halacha, you don't know what's Torah, you don't know what's allowed, you don't know what's allowed.
I'm doing this.
So therefore, everybody has to have a rabbi. And by the way, you should know that this applies to a rabbi himself as well. A rabbi also should have a rabbi. In other words, he also sometimes, can get into a situation where he doesn't know what the answer is. He has a doubt about certain things. The rabbi doesn't know you don't know everything. Nobody knows everything. So you also have to have somebody to take counsel with, to get advice from. That's the idea.
So I'm assuming that rabbi that has the other rabbi, that other rabbi is probably more knowledgeable.
Yeah, he's probably more knowledgeable than him, But it could be also, by the way, that he's not.
Okay.
But you know what it is? Sometimes it's good just to get a second opinion, don't rely everything on yourself, I know everything, Maybe there's some things you don't know, maybe some things you don't understand. So therefore, especially, if he's in a situation where, it could be that the bias causes him to say something different, he's biased. You know what I mean? So if he's biased, he has a bias about something, it's a good idea to get advice from a different rabbi who doesn't have that bias. You know what I mean? Who nogea bedavar. That's right. When you're nogea, when you're biased, you have something to gain from it. You shouldn't try not to stay away from that decision. So I told the guys inside, there's a story like this. I told them, which is a true story, that Rabbi my rabbi, he had a situation where they asked him to be chief rabbi. They asked him to become chief rabbi, but the problem was he had to bring down another chief rabbi who was already chief rabbi. So he had to make elections and bring him down. There was a whole thing. So he wasn't sure if that was the right thing to do. After all, he's already there, the rabbi. Why should you not bring him down? This is a terrible thing to do. But they told him, they came to him, the rabbis, some Ashkenazi rabbis, they told him that you have to do it, because this situation warrants that, So he went and took advice from a different rabbi, because he wasn't sure if that was the right thing to do. So he got advice, even though that rabbi wasn't really bigger than him, but he felt like maybe he has a bias, like over here, because he wants to have the position, Everybody has a desire to get a position. So because of that, he took advice from the rabbi what to do, because he wasn't sure if he was thinking of the right thing, the right thought. Okay, very good. So tells you, right, what's the reason why you should have a rabbi? The whole point is that you're staying away from doubts, If you have any doubts about certain things in life, you're not really sure what the right thing is to do, to make the right decision. That's why you need a rabbi, to solve your doubts.
That's what I had.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the whole point. That's the whole point, right? If a person would do that, by the way, they say the Chazal in Midrash. They say something very powerful about this. What they say, right? They say that if a Jew is going to be wise like this, and go to the older rabbis, the older ones, not the young ones, just coming out of yeshiva, 25 years old, Pitrushkevi, not those people. Talking about the older ones, they have a long, beard like this, older, zaken, elders, elder rabbis. Experience, exactly, right. The older ones. So if you go to those rabbis, who are already learned, they've been studying already for for a long time, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, they know everything, So you can't, everything they understand. So what happens is that they say that if you go to a rabbi like this and get advice from him about your life, you'll never go wrong. Everything you do will be right. You'll never make a mistake in your life. Hashem will always guide you in the right direction because you're going to the zkenim, to the elders. Those are the rabbis that really know their stuff. The ones who've been studying for a long time. They understand already a lot of things. That's the thing.
Well, there's a lot to like. But
Yeah. But
So
one thing that I promise you don't know. There is a blessing when you meet a black person. Nachon?
yes, it's true. Yes.
He told,
Yeah.
there is a blessing. When you see a black person,
Yeah.
you have to bless something.
Yes, there's a blessing on that. Yes, because he looks unusual. So we'll talk about that as the Shem sometime. So it says now, we're going now to Mishnah Yud Zayin 17. Shimon beno Omer Kol Yamai Gadalti Ben Chachamim. Look what it says, right? Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. Velo matzati laguf tov ela shtika. So he says, I've been growing up with the rabbis all my life, living with them. All my life I've been with rabbis, wise people, wise men, And he says, you know what I found? One thing. Look what he says. Same thing as we just said before, right? The best thing for a person is silence, to be quiet. Nothing like being quiet.
But somebody has to talk, right? I mean, if we're all quiet, then no
So this is
knowledge
very,
gets passed around.
it's true. We're not talking about words of Torah, right? But I'm saying just, a person is a very silent type, doesn't like to talk a lot of nonsense.
Yeah. My brother is like that. He hardly speaks.
Okay, so that's the idea. So it's good for you, it says it's good for your body, it's good for your soul. Why is that? Why is that so good? You know why? Because if a person starts to talk, he's going to also do some sins, There is no speech without sin. What does that mean? He's going to say Lashon Hara.
Should I
He's
open
going to
that?
say...
I'm sorry, I
Yeah,
apologize.
they'll be fine. Don't worry, they'll be fine. They don't need your help. They don't need your help. So, you can't open it. There's a key for that. There's no open it.
Okay, right.
So,
Yeah.
So, here's the thing, right? They have to go out from the other way.
Yeah.
It's okay. Not the end of the world. So, there's a reason for that, for security. The patronizers. So, as we said, right, that there's nothing good like silence. They say, by the way, something incredible, the Chazal, regarding this. What they say, right? They say that even a foolish person, it says, this is Shlomo Melech, King Solomon, he says that in the Mishle, the book of Mishle, Proverbs, he says that even a fool who's silent, they think that he's wise, because he doesn't say nothing, So they say, wow, look at him,
He's
smart
thinking.
guy.
He's thinking.
Yes, that's the idea.
You're trying to figure him out.
Right, that's the idea. So I'll say, even a foolish person, that just sits there, he looks like he's a wise man. But once he starts to talk, you can see that he's a fool. You know what I mean? Talks nonsense, all kinds of nonsense. But if he's silent, it looks like a sage, Looks like a chacham. That's what it looks like. It's an incredible thing,
Maybe I should
So there's
give
nothing
this
good like
advice to
silence.
Biden.
I don't want to contradict the Torah or, because keeping quiet and listening, we all know is a trait of a smart person, right? Usually smart people talk less. But I have a friend, this guy that just called. His name is Norman. He's 73 years old. I learned a lot from this guy because he can't stop talking. The man literally cannot stop talking.
Sure.
Yeah, I learned a lot from him because he talks so much. So I don't know. I mean,
That's the thing, right? That's the whole point. That when you listen to him, you're silent, so you're gaining. He's not gaining nothing.
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You're gaining
Yeah.
because you're being silent. You're listening to him.
Okay.
That's the idea. They say the Chazal another thing. You know what it is, right? They say, why was a person given 2 ears and 1 mouth only? You should be listening more than you're talking. That's why they give you 2 and 1 to show you, right? Listen more than you talk.
So there is everything. The answer, everything is written in it.
Yeah.
My God.
There's also another thing. You know what it is, right? As we said, right? You should be listening more than you're talking. So there's a few things I want to say. Just slipped my mind, but anyway, right? It tells you another thing here, which is that lo midrash wa ikar ela maseh. What does that mean? when it comes to Torah study, the most important thing is not to sit and learn it. The most important thing is to keep it. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing. If you don't keep what you learned, lo mekayem, he doesn't uphold it. So what's the point of learning it? You know what I mean? That's not the main thing. So what does that mean? The Torah is good. To study the Torah is very, very good. But if you don't keep it, you're missing the point altogether. So what does that mean? Don't turn it into some kind of theoretical lesson only. It has to be also practical. You know what I mean? You have to uphold what you... That's the main idea of Torah. Yes, study is very good, but if you don't keep it, better that, what's the point? What did you accomplish? Nothing. Right? So...
You mean the halachot part of the Torah? Because a lot of the things we learn from the Torah are historical.
That's true, but there's always a moral lesson there. You know what I mean? In every historical fact, things like this.
Yeah.
All the history, there's a moral lesson involved. By the way, that's the reason why we learn history. Not to make the same mistakes over. That's the whole point, right?
Right.
That's the whole idea. Otherwise, what's the point of learning history? What? Just as it's like a soap opera,
Well, some of it is like a soap opera, actually.
You got to learn something from there. That's the whole point. Right? That's the idea. Otherwise, it's just entertainment. You're entertaining yourself. That's not the point of learning these stories. So again, it says an amazing thing here. Right? Whoever talks a lot, for sure he sins.
Sins.
Yeah, for sure. Right? Why is that? He talks lashon hara. He talks all kinds of forbidden things. Igineba. Curses. Curse words. Nivul peh. All kinds of vulgar language. These things are sinful to talk like that, using these 4-letter words and all that stuff, people like.
What if it's about Biden and the Democrats? Is it still a sin?
That's a mitzvah.
That's funny. Okay, so I see the point of what you're saying. Believe me, I understand you.
What if you're?
But the point is, that when you talk too much, what happens is eventually you'll say something wrong.
Yeah. I mean, you can't help it.
That's why don't be a talking machine. They say in the Gemara, by the way, Masechet Eruvin, they say that Asar Kavin shel Dibur yardu leolam, Nashim kiblu tet mehen. You know what that means? That the biggest talkers, in the world, who they are? The women. The women talk much more than the men.
On average, yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why they're always on the phone, talking with their friends.
Yeah, gossiping.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it, right? Whatever they do over there.
That's what it is.
Talking. So what does that mean? The nature of women is to talk a lot more than the men. That's their nature. You know what I mean? So, okay, that's their nature. So that's the way they are. That's the way they were born.
So they're forgiven?
You know what I mean? So they have more of an excuse, but what's your excuse? You're a man, so you shouldn't be talking like a woman, talking so much. You know what I mean? You have to know which gender you are. Make sure.
Yeah, but now we don't. We're all the same now. There's no male or female anymore.
Don't be confused with your gender, right, as they say, right? Make sure you know who you are and what you are. That's the idea. So it always brings the sin when you talk a lot. That's the thing, So that's why it's better to be quiet. So what should a person talk about, by the way, then, if that's the case, right? Practically speaking, what should he talk about? Only words of Torah and the words of chokhmah, wisdom, like knowledge, like things that he knows, some, things that he needs to, to live your practical life. Knowledge, wisdom, things like this. A person should talk about that. Once in a while, by the way, it's good to say a joke or something, Crack a little joke. Why is that? Because it breaks the ice a little bit, makes life a little bit easier to live. You know what the problem? The problem is, right? There's a difference. A lot of people don't get this difference, differentiation. There's a person all his life is a joke. You know what I mean? All the time he's joking around. Never serious. This person. This is not good. Like a letzan, we call it a clown. He's a clown. Person lives like a clown. That's not good. So what does that mean? Once in a while, to break a joke is very positive. But to be a clown is not a good thing. Letzanut.
Is there a character in the Torah that was like that?
That what?
That was like constantly clowning around.
Because
the Torah has characters of all
right,
kinds,
yes.
The stories,
Yes, but also here, the Gemara says that there's always a positive way to use humor. What does that mean? What's a positive way? Let's say people are depressed, so you get them, cheer them up a little bit. So you make a joke or something, you cheer them up. Also another thing, which is that it says in the Zohar Kadosh something amazing, that before you learn some Torah, what should you do? First say some silly things, like a couple of jokes, crack a couple of jokes before. That's good to do that. Why is that? Because it makes you learn better, In other words, you see the contrast between the joke and the Torah, the wisdom. So the contrast makes it stick better. That's the idea, So it's actually a good thing to crack a couple of jokes before you, a joke or two, before you start learning Torah. It's a good thing.
Isn't it specialty of Jewish people to be funny?
To be funny. Well, ask Zelensky. He knows about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, the comedians, the Ashkenazi Jews.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true.
Clowns.
True. Yeah. There's many of them,
Yeah.
Dangerfield, Rickles, all these
I
people are
hear
Jewish.
that transcends from the suffering that they went through.
Wow, that's
And
funny.
They had to cheer themselves up.
That's incredible.
And
I think
good
it's
point.
I think it's natural to them.
yeah,
Yeah, nothing to do with this.
Okay, that's good. I understand you. Okay, good. So we got the idea. Okay, very good. Okay. I guess we'll do one more. So it says like this, right? Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Omer, this is only the second parak, Mishna Aleph. Right? The world stands on three principles. We talked about it? Okay.
Yeah.
Al Hadin, Al Ha'emet, ve Al Shalom. Right? There's two different versions of this, by the way.
No, that's
in
not what
Pirkeh
you
Avot.
said.
Right. There's two different ones, two different
you
Mishnayot.
said
Yeah, two different Mishnayot.
Torah,
Yes. Chesed,
Talmidim,
right. Gemilut Chasadim,
Hasidim.
and Avodah, right.
Avodah.
Yes. But here it's a different one. Here it's telling you three things the world stands on. What is it? Din, Emet, and Shalom. So din is what? Judgment, right? So what does that mean? It's a very important thing that we should have judges that know how to judge truthfully. Not corrupted judges that take bribes, all kinds of things like this. You know what I mean? Because they say that the world stands on justice. So if there's justice, true justice in the world is going to be peaceful and good.
Which judges is it talking about? Is it talking about those pagan judges in the courtroom, or is it talking about a bunch of guys?
Yeah, we're
with
talking
beards,
about the real judges, with the real judges, that are judging in the court.
Those are all corrupt.
But you know what it is? That they say the Chazal in Pirkeh Avot, different chapter, later on, they say that when there's the judgment is not true in the world, that brings violence, cherev, sword, the sword, Putin. It makes war, where does that come from? Bad judgment. When there's bad judgment in the world, not proper judgment, this is exactly what happens, that you get the sword, right? Violence, wars. This is what brings wars into
So
the
you're
world.
telling me, I think we touched upon this
Yeah.
before. You're telling us that the Torah actually respects judges. And I mean, I don't want to say the word, but the Goisha judges, judging people's lives on a
So
daily
let's first talk
basis.
about the Jewish judges, right? That's the thing, So
Yeah.
before we talk about the Goyim, because the Jewish judges are the main thing.
Yeah, a
The
lot
main
of
idea is
those
the Jewish
are
judges.
Jews, by the way, but
Yeah.
you know what I meant.
But what I'm talking about is like this, that
Goyim society.
here's the thing. When you have a Jewish society, right, the judges should be judging according to the Torah and not according to the Goyish laws. This is a very important thing.
Yeah.
So that's why when you have the judges, Jewish judges, they're going according to Goyish law. This is destroying the world. This is bringing the cherev, the
Yeah, but
violence,
that's what goes
war
in
into
there.
the world.
These are state laws. These are not rabbinical laws.
You should
We
know,
live
by the way, this is exactly why there's terrorism in Israel.
Yeah.
You know why there's terrorism? Because the judges judge according to secular law.
But Rabbi,
Yeah, they
Rabbi,
don't judge according to the Torah.
we live
Yeah.
under their federal and state mandated laws.
What can we do?
We
That's the way
don't
it
live
is.
by the Torah laws.
Right. But that's
we
what
can
brings
live by the Torah laws at home. We can keep kosher.
right.
We can
But it shouldn't be like that. That's the thing, right? When you have a Jewish country,
Yeah.
it should be also Jewish laws.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It shouldn't be secular laws over there. That's the thing,
Over there,
People don't
yes.
understand that.
But how does
Over
it
here,
apply
they have to keep the 7 laws of the, the Noachides. They have to keep those laws. According to, they don't keep that either, by the
They
way.
don't keep that either, yeah.
Right. But but it's all relative, whatever. But the point is, right, that when you don't have good judgment, you have bad judges who don't judge according to the Torah. This is what brings the war
What
to
are
the
seven
wars
laws
to the
by
world.
Noachides?
Huh?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
The 7 laws. What are those 7 laws?
7 laws: do not steal, do not kill, right? Don't do idolatry, don't curse God, right? And adultery, homosexuality, things like this.
They
These
judge
are
some
the,
of those, but the
some of them
judgments
they
are
keep-
wrong.
But they
When
don't.
you let
yeah,
killers
yeah.
out free, and you know that they're going to kill
Yeah.
people again, you don't belong as a judge.
They don't really keep it the way it's supposed to be
Yeah.
kept. So that's the thing, So some of it is kept, some of it is not
These
kept.
people are in office, unfortunately.
But that's the way it is, So this is what brings the sword to the world. The the wars. Things like this, murder, bloodshed.
Rabbi,
Okay.
what's the most important word in Hebrew? The word milah.
Oh, why is that?
Somebody asked me.
Okay. Anyway,
The most important word. What is it?
well, what's the most important word in Hebrew? Shalom. But let's see, right? Exactly what we're saying over here.
Normally,
So
emet.
one thing is din, one is emet,
It's
right?
all
Emet.
based on emet.
So emet is also, right, one of them here.
The truth,
So what does that mean?
Truth, the
justice,
real.
That the world stands on the truth. What does that mean? Don't be like those Russians, that over there. Everything they say is a lie, like these politicians in Russia.
yeah. That's not
Everywhere.
Every second
Come on.
word that they say is a lie.
Everywhere. Come on.
Yeah, but especially, it's like their profession, like this guy, Lavrov, he's a professional liar.
Is he Jewish? Somebody said
No,
he's
he's
Jewish.
not. He's not Jewish. He's
Well,
a professional liar.
Somebody
You're talking
just
about Zelensky.
The foreign minister
no,
of Putin.
Lavrov.
Lavrov,
The guy's a professional liar.
They said that Lavrov's daughter is married to Israeli guy and she lives in Israel. I have
That's
to
something
verify
else, but
it.
he's not Jewish. That's something else.
He's not Jewish for
He's
sure.
not Jewish, no. But the point is,
He
right,
He has
that
a Semitic look to him.
right, does,
I'm
yeah,
telling you,
somewhat,
yes.
yeah. But nevertheless, right, that the point is that the world stands on the truth, so don't come out and say lies, all the time lying. That's what we see, by the way, in
but
Russia,
that's what Jen Psaki does on every
in
conference.
Russia, right?
She lies.
Yeah, but in Russia, like
She's a pathological liar.
it's an accepted culture over there. You just lie about everything.
Yeah. Those
It's a
people
very
are
sick
lying.
thing.
Yeah.
You're destroying the world like this when every second word you say is a
Yeah.
line.
And it's amazing how easy it comes.
Right, they just make it up as they go along, they make it up, Yeah, I think it's like, yeah, let's try that one, yeah, we'll try. What kind of thing is this?
Circle back.
Say the truth.
So, but they're used to it, Rabbi. Listen,
Yeah,
they lie to the
this is
people
Russian
there
culture,
for-
We grew up with this, by the way. We left that
Well,
that
I
country.
was 6 years old.
Right? But
I don't
it accompanies us.
yeah.
Because our parents grew up with this culture.
They had to lie to the
So
people.
everything by the people who grew up anywhere in the Soviet Union, lying is a part of the culture. Like being a liar, being a fraud.
Stealing,
fraudulent lying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the way the culture is. This is the destruction of the world. It's very disgusting. I mean, here also there's lies. Don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you that we have a perfect society over here. But in Russia,
it
it's
is
like
absolutely
lying is
legal
a
to
rule.
lie
It's
for
like you
police.
lie.
Yeah.
Police is lying,
Yeah.
and it's legal, and they're teaching them how to lie.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. They interrogating somebody. They said, "Listen, we know what you did. We have evidence. They don't have anything,
Yeah.
but they just need to lie for
Right.
them to break the person."
Yeah.
Right. But I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking more like every day they lie. It's part of life. Just
yeah.
You lie. You just the whole thing is a lie.
Yeah.
Life is a lie.
Everything is
That's the way it is in these cultures. It's a very bad thing like this. To live like that. They don't realize. They're so sick. These people. They're so ill.
It's a mental.
It's a disease. It's like you're living in a lie. Nothing you say is
was
true.
not lying in the interview. I didn't have sex with this woman, with the Jewish girl.
All
Okay.
of them are lying.
So that's why, right? They say the signet, the seal of Hakadosh Baruch Hu is emet. When you say emet, you're holding up the world. The world is being held up by that, by truth. Truth, justice, and the American way, right? Once America used to be, that was their slogan. Truth and justice. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's what we're talking about.
But,
That's what we're talking about over here.
About lying, and actually, one of the biggest riddles in America is not about politics. Everybody knows politicians, and we just live with it, But it's about lawyers. How do you know a lawyer is lying? He's lip moving. It's usually said because
Yeah, but it's part of their work.
yeah,
That's funny. Okay, I got you.
just
I
like
got you.
politicians. Listen, what politician is going to come out and tell you that he's going to screw you when he gets in office? All of them promise you stuff that they know that they can never deliver.
Yeah.
They're lying to you.
Absolutely. So let's go to the third one, right? The third one that the world stands on is shalom, right? So what does that mean? Peace, Exactly the opposite of what's going on today, right? In Ukraine over there. There's a war going on. What are you fighting for? For what? For money, for kavod.
Well, wait a second. He feels that I'm against
Yeah, he feels.
what he's
Yeah, he
doing.
feels.
He feels he has a right. He laid it out. He gave them 8 months or whatever, and he feels that he's in the right.
Yeah,
Is he slaughtering
everybody feels that
people?
they're in the right.
Absolutely.
But
He's a killer.
there's
Yeah,
the truth is the truth, right? That's the thing. So The point is like this, that without shalom, the world cannot exist,
Yeah.
That's the thing. You have to have peace. So what does that mean? Having peace is a very important concept, very, very important principle, in Judaism. Without peace, the world cannot thrive, Society cannot thrive. When there's wars going on all the time, violence, all kinds of things like this. There's always, strife going on. We don't need that. So shalom is considered to be, right, that's why Kadosh Baruch Hu, it says, Oseh shalom b'mamav, u'vrachmav v'yaseh shalom. What does that mean? That He's going to make peace for us. In the end, when Mashiach comes, there's going to be no more wars. There's going to be peace, So peace is considered to be a very, very important thing. That's what we pray for also in the last blessing, in the Amidah. Sim shalom tova u'bracha, chayim b'chem v'chesed, right? We're asking HaKadosh Baruch Hu to make shalom, to make peace in the world.
We've been asking it for
We want peace, right? And what's the blessing? Baruch atah Hashem ha'mevarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. Amen.
Rabbi,
Right?
we've been asking him forever.
He blesses the Jewish people with peace. That's what we want, When you have civil war going on, wars going on, strife going on, it destroys everything, undermines the whole world. That's why these people are such sinners, These people over there in Russia, what they're doing. Terrible, it's terrible.
Well, I heard a lot of the soldiers were against it. They were.
Of course, yeah.
doing that.
There are some good people over there in Russia,
Listen,
who know the
there's always
truth.
good people.
Yeah, there are some good people over there.
There were some good Polish people too. That
They,
saved the Jews.
yeah, it's true. There are a lot of people in Russia who left now Russia. They objected against what's going on. They can't stay there anymore. They're afraid to get arrested also. But they're leaving. They went to Georgia. A lot of them went to Armenia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of them are going there. Yeah, they're going to all kinds of places like this.
They're
Going to Poland.
Israel. About
Yeah, going to
10,000
Israel.
people.
Yes.
They live in 5-star hotels.
So the
Herzliya
point.
Ketuah, you know where Herzliya?
Yeah.
I wish I could go to Israel.
You should do it.
Herzliya is where one of the richest people live, like outside. It's all villas, and there is a beach area that they have beautiful hotels. That's where they put the Ukrainians.
Unbelievable.
So it's not only that, right? But you also the Chazal say that Shalom is the name of God, name of Hashem. So what does that mean? It's one of the attributes of God. Peace. Peace. When you have peace, you see the quality of Hashem, the quality of God. There's peaceful. Everybody's friendly.
And yet the
everybody's
Torah
nice,
stories are full of battles.
But what happens is that when you start wars, and you start violence, you're contradicting the God's presence. You're driving away God from there, from that place. A violent place is not a place that God can dwell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The more violence you have in a society, the worse it is. God cannot be there. So that's the thing. So these three things: din, judgment; emet, truth. And shalom, peace. So what does that mean? Don't go to Russia and don't live there because you're not going to have any of these. You understand? You get the point? Don't go to Ukraine. You're not going to have any of these three. For now, anyway, right? Until they fix the problem over there.
Well,
But, it is what it is. So that's the idea. So the Torah teaches us, all the good things in life, Baruch Hashem. These are good things, If you want to have a good, healthy society, these are the three things that you need to live the proper way. Baruch Adonai Le'olam, amen. Chazak u'Baruch. Thanks for coming. Be blessed with wealth, health, and happiness.
did you guys ever take
God bless you.
music?